Test test 1 2 1 2. 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 All right, bring everything up a little bit. Test test 1 2 1 2. Test test 1 2 1 2. Ah, such good music. All right. One of my favorite board games ever. I've played it a few times in person, and it's great, but there's a lot of math, a lot of calculation. And the digital version is awesome. I haven't done too much multiplayer, but the AI is super smart. I'm starting on medium because it's been a while, and then we'll move on to hard. But even on medium, I probably win, I don't know, 60%, 70%, something between. Now, in some ways, the base game, which we're playing here, which doesn't have the 2 other maps and doesn't have the prelude cards, which are like cards you play before the main game starts, which basically are just to get your economy moving in general and in a specific strategic direction before the official turns start, and actually helps the game move along quite a lot quicker because you don't just start with 0 or 1 of each resource. You basically start with nothing or maybe 1 in each category, and you don't have earning power either. You don't have earning power either. So, starting at 1 gold, by the end of the game, you're hoping to get 30 or more per game. So they're giving me 3 to select from. A lot of times when I play, even though I'm not a beginner, I like to take Beginner Corporation because, first of all, you get $42 without any compromises, and you just get 10 cards. And when you play so many games, it's nice to skip having to draft cards in the first round, where you're choosing from 10 cards, but each card costs, was it $3 or $4? So you basically you'd spend all that gold, credits, Mars credits, mega credits, whatever they are. The second one, interplanetary cinematics. I start with 20 steel. Let's see. I have to remember all the trade-offs. So you can, when you're doing building cards, which are a lot of the cards, you can use steel on some and titanium on others. Titanium are more valuable than steel, but steel is used more often. Steel, I believe, is worth 2 or 3, and titanium is worth maybe 4. In terms of what it takes off the price of that card. So this is start with $30, but it's really 70. If you include the fact that you will spend probably pretty early if you do a building based strategy, which is normally what I do. That this is just another $40. That's in resource form. You can't play it immediately, or to when you're drafting cards at the beginning of the game, you have to use from that $30. So if I draft just 4 cards, I'm already down to $18 for my first round. And on top of that, there is an effect. Every time you play an event, you get $2. So you're playing buildings and events, and some events you can use steel with it. Generally, starting with a bunch of resources isn't always the best. Or you go through it quickly. Let's just put it that way. You'll go through that $40 worth of resources pretty quickly. So you want to be looking at the effect $2 per event. It's not that much. It can make a difference in some rounds, but not huge. All right, and then Helion, start with $42, and 3 heat production. So you'll see that one row is how much you're making per month, and the row below it is how much you have in the bank. And the effect, you can use heat as money. Well, the trade-off here is for every 8 heat, you raise the temperature 1 bar, which you need to do sort of as a group, even though you're competing to, you need to get the temperature to a certain point, you need to get the oxygen to a certain point, and you need to get 9 oceans. All 3 of those things happen. Mars gets terraformed, the game ends, and you count up your points. So if you're getting 3 heat production per round, let's say we get that to 4 quickly. That means every 2 rounds, I have enough to raise the temperature 1 point. Well, what do I get for raising temperature 1 point? As long as we haven't raised it to the max temperature and it can be raised 1 point, you get 1 towards your terraforming rating, which is on the left here, grayed out at the moment. We all start at 20. And what's great about that is when you add 1 to the terraforming rating, you immediately get 1 victory point, essentially. I mean, your terraforming rating is the base of your victory points at the end of the game. Everyone can see it. There's no hidden things, nothing you have to do. You just keep raising oxygen, oceans, and temperature. Anything to keep terraforming, you get at least 1 terraforming rating point, but the terraforming rating is also the base of the amount of money you get per round. So right now, we all get $20 per round just based on the terraforming rating. And so if I'm increasing the heat, let's say I get to the point where I can get my heat production to 8 per round, because you also are getting energy, which gets converted to heat. So you can get to a point where you can be doing at least 1 temperature bump up per round, if not more. So that is 1 victory point and $1 extra per month. So the reason this is nice is early on, you can help raise the temperature a bunch and really get a bunch of victory points, but also raise your terraforming rating quickly and early so that you start getting more credits per month to spend money on, cash, whatever you want to call it. But what's great is a lot of times if everyone, so what normally happens in these games is based on how the cards play out and how the strategies are being played, usually 1 or 2 of the 3 between oceans, oxygen, and temperature end up getting raised much more quickly than the other 2. Sometimes it's strategic, sometimes it's just the cards that people have, it's just a coincidence, a statistic anomaly, but rarely do you have a sort of even flow, thoughts arrive like butterflies, where you'll see all the 3 terraforming markers going up at the same rate. Meaning, I might start spending a lot of heat production to raise the temperature to get terraforming points, but if other people do, and that maxes out, all of a sudden, this does me absolutely nothing. Because while you do get energy, which is a different resource, and energy can be spent in all parts of the game to build cities and other buildings and play events and so forth. Once that excess energy gets converted to heat, it just gets stored. And sometimes you just, unless I take this corporation, I'm going to take this one just because it's the most interesting of the ones that are offered. If you don't have this one, where the effect is that I can use a heat as money, you can end up with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 more heat by the end of the game that you just can't spend because the game doesn't let you reward you for raising the heat above, whatever the top temperature rating is. You just have to raise the other 2, the oceans and the oxygen level, to end the game and do all your other strategies, play other cards, get your victory points, and so forth. So what you can do early on is you are careful with your money and you don't give in to the temptation to just keep buying things using the heat that you're producing, and try and actually raise the temperature a lot, the sort of primary usage of heat. And then as the game goes on, and you get a lot of heat, but also it's getting to the point where you're not going to be able to raise the temperature anymore, you can just still be benefiting from whatever your heat production is by turning it into bucks. So let's do that. We start with 42. It means we're going to have to buy cards to start the game. Okay, here we go. All right, so I've seen these cards a million times. Again, other than not having the other two maps, it's annoying because you have to. It's on every system, and this plays well on every system, both mobile and computer. But the in all cases, the DLC for the extra planets and the extra cards are really expensive. I already paid for it on my iPhone and iPad, but I don't have an iPhone or iPad anymore, so that was a waste. And I paid for it on my Android, but I don't actually play it that much on the PC. So we're playing the base game here and the main Mars map. If somehow people are really interested in this, and viewers stop by and want to see this game played from someone who's played this probably a few hundred times at least, maybe 1,000 digitally over the last couple of years. I know all these cards, and I know what cards are in the base game versus the not base game, because some of them are specific to the other parts of the planet, and so forth. So you start being able to buy 10 cards. Each one costs, it's $3, not $4. Okay, so here's what I got right now. I start with $42, and right now I'm getting 1 per month of everything except for heat, which would normally be 1, but it adds 3 because of my special corporate power. So I'm getting 4 per month. So every 2 months, even if I don't increase my heat, I'll have enough, which is 8 total heat, to raise the temperature rating 1. That will increase my terraforming score, which gives me victory points and money each month. So here's an interesting one. For only $2, you can get a card that does exactly what my power does, but you can only use it once. And I have absolutely no reason to pay 3 to buy it and 2 to use it, because I already have this exact power. Okay. Now the red tags up here show that you can't play these cards until you're past a certain point of oceans, which isn't, they show oceans, which is the drop, the oxygen rating, which is the 2O2, you see the 2 O's. So until the oxygen rating is above 8%, I can't play the herbivore cards. Obviously, advanced animals and advanced life, you have to get the temperature and the oxygen to a certain point, and sometimes it will be not greater than but less than, and so you can only play cards up into a certain temperature or a certain oxygen rating, and then you can no longer play them. So like, let's see, do we have any that are, we don't have any that are just, so like, for example, there are some cards that are like building a colony greenhouse or something, to just like early structures that you'd build in real life colonizing Mars, and so those are only good in the early phase, and then once the colony of Mars is developed to a certain point, no longer good. In general, the way to win this game, in my experience, at least against AIs, is through building a lot of cities and a lot of specifically surrounding those cities with forests that you plant. Now, so I think it's for every 7 or 8 leaf symbols here. So I'm only producing 1 per month. For every 7 or 8 of them, you can get a forest, and every forest that you forest tile that you plant adds to your terraforming rating. It's just like raising the temperature, so you get a victory point essentially from it, and also adds to your monthly income, because that's So right now, my income, my base income is actually just 1. I got 20 for the number of, you start with 20 terraforming points. So right now, if I don't do anything else, it'll be 20 plus 1. I'll be getting 21 a month. That's not enough. You need 25 to even get a city. And so what you want to do is get cities early, in my experience. And while it's great to surround your cities early with forest tiles, because you can still plant. So what happens is you get the terraforming point for the forest tile, but at the end of the game, when you do the scorekeeping, when there's a bunch of different categories that you add up for your victory points. For every forest tile that you own that's connected to any city, so it could be opponent's city as well, or one that you built, you get another point. And so if you can but there's only, I think, 14 notches below what. I think it's 14 notches on the temperature rating. I forget what it starts and what it ends at. We'll see in a second when we start the game. But essentially, oxygen is usually, unless for some reason oceans are being played, that usually has to do with cards, but all things being even, everyone's planting forests early because they want those double points, the ones that come during the game and then the one that come when they count at the end of the game. But I found that it's actually better to play this game is seen as a resource management game first, in a card game second, and sort of territory control game maybe third. But I look at it as territory control game first. And you ask, well, why don't you just let other people build cities and then plant forests around them? Because while building a city does add 1 to your income per month, they are very expensive, and you have to be wary that your opponents don't just surrounding it with their own stuff. Also, building oceans next to cities gives you some stuff. Can I access it here? Right, okay. Let's see. Right, oceans. Placing an ocean increases by 1 step. Let's see. Each ocean tile on the board provides a 2 ME placement bonus for any player later placing a tile, even another ocean next to it. So just putting so you just want to put other tiles next to ocean tiles. So city tile adjacent to 2 different ocean tiles, you get 4, right? So greenery raises, right, if you can, it raises your terraforming rating by 1, and it's worth 1 VP at the end, the game on its own, and 1 VP adjacent to every city. So while spending your money on just building a lot of cities early on means that you're going to end up building a bunch of your forest tiles after they're no longer worth terraforming rating points, but you still get a point for it at the end of the game, just for its existence, and they're all going to be next to cities because unless you have a very specific strategy that rolls out over a number of moves, you almost never build a forest tile that's not already next to a city, because then the other players will try and get in that area immediately and benefit from that. So it actually is helpful to just build, and there's two main configurations, because this is a hex-based game. There's 2 main configurations where you can build 3 or 4 cities earlier and really conquer an entire area of the map, because you cannot, except with certain cards and certain effects that are quite rare, you can't build 2 city tiles next to each other. So if you put cities close enough together and in the right sort of geometrical order, you can block other players out. So city tiles can't be placed in another city. It's worth 1 victory point for each adjacent greenery tile. Right, so you get the 1 point for the greenery, but then the second VP comes from it being next to your city. So if your greenery is next to someone else's city, you get 1 terraforming point when you plant it. If it's still available, you get 1 victory point at the end of the game for its existence. But there's a 3rd victory point that then goes to your opponent if it's next to your opponent's city. So you want it on your cities. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to look at was the resources. Right. Steel. Let's see. Come on. Just steel and let's see. Here we go. Right, and so there's standard projects too, in case you don't have cards for stuff. Power plant, asteroids, oceans, forest tiles, cities. There's milestones you get. There's awards you can fund and you can get. All sorts of ways to get victory points. I mean, it's such a Euro game, but this is definitely a game because it's tile placing and the tiles are so valuable, and the placement tiles in relation to one another is so valuable and important. It really is a direct conflict game. I mean, there are a few cards that specifically like drop a nuke on your enemy, but normally there's only a few sort of FU cards, and I rarely buy them because you normally lose victory points to do it. And it's like the Lords of Waterdeep, like the intrigue cards that just like force someone to lose a like a cube from their resources or something, like one of their their warriors or their priest cubes or whatever. It's you only have so many actions and turns per games, and so are you really accomplishing anything by slightly slowing them down, and maybe even hurting yourself? I mean, you're hurting yourself just for missing a turn or quote unquote wasting a turn or giving up a turn for that. In this game, you might actually lose victory points as well or suffer other penalties. So it's rarely worth it with my strategy to do that. So okay. So what are we going to do? We don't need this because we already have this power. Okay, so I love tundra farming. You get $2 more a month, 1 more greenery a month. That doesn't happen for a while. -6 degrees. Remember, early on you don't have a lot of money. So here's like one food factory. This is such a cool thematic card. You can do this anytime game. This symbol here means that cards have tags, and there's a bunch of, and what tags do is they basically give you, I guess they're like sort of like civilization points. If you ever played Seven Wonders or Seven Wonders Duel, you get a pool of these tags, and sometimes you can get rewards just from the tags, but usually it's just that you need a certain number of tags, like a certain number of energy tags, a certain number of plant tags to even play certain cards. So, for example, to play this giant one here, beam from a thorium asteroid, you need a Jovian tag, which is this one here, the Jupiter tag, because we're actually also colonizing on the side moons of Mars and moons of Jupiter and so forth. But you get these tags also added. But you can't play this. Even though this has a Jovian tag on it, you don't get the tag until the card is played, so you have to already have at least one Jovian tag, and then you get a second one by playing it, but it's expensive. And this would be amazing at the beginning of the game with my setup, because I could be raising the temperature like crazy, and energy does other things as well. But I have to find another card that even has a Jovian tag. Is there one here? Yeah, import water from Europe. Alright, so this is an interesting one. This also rewards you for having Jovian tags, but again, you need to play Jovian tags to get Jovian tags. So this is, rather than pay, I guess it is, maybe ocean normally costs maybe 20 or something, or 18. You can use titanium. I think titanium is worth $3 and steel worth 2. So that you can, basically what they're saying is you can pay for the remainder of it past $12 with titanium, which again, if I'm getting a lot of titanium, could be good, but there's so many ways to get oceans in this game. There's a ton of ways to get oceans in this game. So let's look at cards that I can play at the beginning of the game, that I can afford, that don't set me back a lot. Sometimes you take a positive for a negative. Oh, like we were looking at Food Factory, right? So your Food Factory, you lose 1 monthly production. I only have one now of the leaves, which lead towards building greenery tiles, but you do increase by $4, and this is very much worth it, especially if I can counteract it with something that gives me back my plant production. Again, these games go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 turns, somewhere between like 7 and 12 turns. And so the earlier you get monthly increased production of a resource per turn, as opposed to just a base, they're not just giving you $4. You're getting $4 per turn when everyone plays their turn, and you do all the accounting and start your next turn. So that adds up to a lot if I can play that early on. So I'm going to take that. You also get a victory point for playing it, and it's a building tag. And so if I had done the Middle Corporation, which gave me all of those steel resources, I could buy this for free and still have lots of resources left, but I don't. But it's still a good card. Let's see what else we got here. 2 expensive, mining expedition, 1 oxygen, 2 steel. You lose 2 leaves. Or did someone else lose 2 leaves? Oh no, someone else lose 2 leaves. So this is a great card. Because raising oxygen, normally you get by planting greenery, but planting greenery via money, it costs like $21. which is much more expensive. Of course, you get victory points and so forth from that as well, but nevertheless, this adds to your terraforming rating. And you're getting $4 back in the form of steel that you'll eventually spend that steel, maybe right away, to buy other things, and you do get to screw someone over a little bit with too. So this is a great card. Definitely take that. We're not going to be able to afford -2, +2. We might be able to. There's actually a lot of cards here that have synergy, but this is 3 oceans. This is 5 oceans. If all of these green cards didn't have oceans and temperature requirements to play, I could really build an engine just based on those cards early on. But this is another one where losing 2 to get 2 per month, if I can play it right when there's 3 oceans, would be great. 5 oceans is a long way away. So soil factories, then I'll end up trading in energy and 1 greenery, and that'll cancel out the losing of the greenery, so I'll be at 0 energy, but I'll be back to 1 greenery per month. Energy is important, but I don't need the energy to convert to heat necessarily, because I'm getting a ton of heat production already as part of my special power, and I can gain that energy back later in the game. So we'll get that card as well, and I think that's all we can play early on. So I'm buying 3 cards I can play immediately if I can afford them, and then this one needs 3 oceans before I can play it. We'll stop there. So I'll be down to $30, which leaves me enough to buy a city on my first turn if I don't want to play a card. I guess I'm number 1. I don't want the planet movement. That makes me dizzy. I can zoom in and move it around. Okay, so here we go. Here's my turn. So you get 2 actions, it goes to the next person. You can take 1 or 2 actions. If you take 0 actions, you're saying you're done for the turn, and no matter what anyone else does, until the turn cycles and everyone else finishes and you do all the accounting and so forth, you can't have any more turns. There are not fast cards in this game. There's no instant way to play a card during other people's turns. It's a very straight ahead game in a lot of straight ahead game in a lot of ways, and because it does take a while to actually terraform, even playing against AI when you know what you're doing and not explaining everything, the games still are not super short. So you can imagine how long it is when you're playing with 3, 4 players, maybe 5 players, but you have to do all of the accounting yourself, and all these cards have, -2 this, +2 this, plus this, and it costs this, but then does this, and blah, 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 blah. So I have $30. A city would cost me 25. With $30, I can cast, oh my god. Ugh, playing Magic the Gathering again, bad for your health. I can get 2 of these. Any two of these I can get. So I can just immediately raise myself $4 and 2 victory points right off the bat, for the cost of losing an energy essentially. The mining expedition is good because I get it actually only costs 8, because the 2 steel are worth 4, 2 each. Plus, I get 1 more money per month for raising the oxygen. It raises my terraforming rating, and it will help me at the end of the game with victory points. But I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to spend it all on a city, because that has always been my strategy. All right. So the ones that have blue outlined means only ocean tiles can go there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You only need 9 oceans. And there are certain cards that allows you to put oceans specifically on non-ocean cards. The other 2 maps are actually much more interesting. And if I start playing this more than a couple times, I'll for sure get Elysium and Hellas. I actually prefer playing on those maps. Having this big ocean thing in the middle, and then plus this one, Noctis City here, you need the Noctis City card to play there. Although this will break a rule in that if I have a city, or anyone has a city next to it, you still can play Noctis City, I believe. But what's nice about the oceans, even though... So here are the standard projects. Oh, I don't have it here. So, you want to build around already existing oceans. When you put an ocean next to something, it doesn't give you anything after the fact, like greenery does. Oceans are just, you build an ocean, you get the terraforming rating, which is a victory point and $1 per month, and you get $2 for every other ocean that it's next to, or whatever. This is, yeah. however many other tiles are next to the ocean when you plant it. Yeah. But it also serves as a nice defensive barrier, which is normally how I play it. Which is very tempting, but it doesn't work as great as you think necessarily, because it also boxes in your ability. Because, you know, ideally you put a city and surround it with all 6 hexes that surround it. You surround it with greenery tiles, 'cause that ends up giving you a ton of points during the game and after the game. But you don't build just one city. You build one with your eye towards what your second one is. And if you look at the hex board, let's say you take these 2 cities here. If I take these 2 cities here and then a third one over here, I can build, let's say here. So 1, 2, 3 cities. I can build greeneries in the following places. So I can build a greenery in the middle that no one else can touch. And then the other 3 greeneries I can build, other people could build cities there. So you are thinking not just 3 cities ahead, but 4 cities ahead or 5 cities ahead. AI does like to do certain strategies, especially put cities in certain cities, certain places, certain times. It's been long enough since I played this that I don't sort of remember by heart where they put it, especially on this map. It's a little unpredictable. Now, any tile that has resource icons on it, you just get that resource. It's not a monthly upgrade. It's just a one-time thing. So you rarely ever settle a tile because it gives you 1 greenery or 2 greenery or an extra card or whatever, or 2 cards. That's nice. And it does help refund the cost of your city a little bit, but it's really more about area control. So where do I want to go for area control? All right. Let's see. I'm thinking. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do I can greenery here, throw an ocean there, and then keep expanding this way. So I'm gonna do my first city. Yeah, the best places are all the places that don't have resources, so you just have to block it out of your minds. Sorry, this guy's his first turn. It's been a while since I played. Once I start throwing these cards down, they'll start moving super fast. Let's see. That ocean would be nice. Yeah, let's just throw it here. Who cares? Alright, that's 1 extra buck per. But I'm down to $5, so now I can no longer afford anything. And so that's literally all I'm going to be able to do this whole turn. And so that's one of the things about building cities early, is you just have to be okay with, turn the sound up a little bit. Have to be okay with having entire turns where you just build a city. And they're playing Phobos Space Haven, so they're dropping a colony here, which doesn't connect to anything, or it's not adjacent to anything. So other than getting the 3 victory points and placing a city, it's not something I normally go after. Any of these side colonies, I stay to the main map. Now I do have 4 heats. So why can't I afford the soil factory? Because I have $5. Oh, because the heat hasn't accrued. That's the other thing, is on the first turn you don't actually get the resource. You just get the monthly. Yeah, you should start with one of what you should start with. One, they should basically run the month. There should be a 0 month where you do get whatever's in the top row here as your monthly thing. Because I'd have 4 heat, and then I'd be able to use 4 heat and $5 to pay for the soil factory. Not gonna happen until next turn. Taking no actions, I pass. It's saying, are you sure? You can't play again until the next generation, which is the next round of actions next turn. So yes, I'm passing. So now it's just up to green and purple. So Criticore and Phobolog. So they're getting energy. Purple player's turn. Pass their turn, they're done. Green. And I go to the bottom of the list next month once you're at the top, and then you go to the middle and then back to the top in terms of turn order here. Here's production phase. So you see it adds from each month to here. So everyone gets whatever their monthly income is for each resource. It gets added. You can see it. You can always click on the AI players or whoever the opponents are and see what they have. Alright, we'll start moving more quickly. Alright, so now I can buy up to 4 cards per turn. They still cost $3. So I have 27. So this is where it gets interesting. So there are city cards, which give you a city for well under the cost of 25 bucks. Because it has a building tag, it means I can use steel resources to pay for this. It's already cheaper at 18. Plus I can use steel resources, and it's going to give me more monthly steel resources, but it's going to take away 2 power resources, which I'm not going to be able to afford, unless... Do I want to do heat trappers, lose a victory point, and lose my 1 superpower? I don't think so. Kelp farming, 6 oceans, that's way, 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 way. This is going to cost 31 bucks, but this is actually a very powerful card, because, well, it costs 31 bucks. You can use titanium to pay for it, and it takes 3 off per titanium used, and it gives you 4 steel. So take 8 right off the top because of the steel in terms of its ultimate cost when you make your money back, and you can pay for it with titanium. And hitting someone for -8 greenery, which is a full greenery tile mid to late game, is very powerful. So I'm going to take this even though I'm not going to be able to play it for at least a few rounds. I'm going to take Underground City too because I love city cards, because especially when you're a city building person, you need to be able to find ways to build cities for well under 25 bucks just using a standard project, because, well, just the money doesn't add up unless you're really, really, really super rich, which can happen. But by the time you get really, really super rich, even if you're in a money-making strategy for getting credits, it's still going to be 25 per city, and you can spend through that pretty quickly. And it might be all citied up. There might not be any good places left, or nothing that you particularly like for placing that city by the time you get the money. So I'm buying 2 cards that I'm not going to spend till down the road because I want to increase my hand size. This is why I do like starting with the beginner's hand, where you just get 10 cards. Yes, it's random, and maybe you won't be able to use them, or you don't want to use them, but at least you have 10 cards. I've had to spend a bunch of money over the first 2 rounds just to get 6 cards, and haven't been able to afford any of them. Alright, what did he just do? You can always go to the log to show what they did. So Generation 2, they increased their energy by 2. Purple player... No, I guess then I took 1 turn, and then purple player put a greenery next to their city here. So now there's an open greenery here. So, but they're building away from me. So even if I could afford a city now, which I can't, I'd have to make the decision whether I want to keep taking over this property or get it on their property. Well, there's not enough property down here, and I actually like that they're building down to the southern part of the continent, so I can continue working on the northern part of the continent. Let them be tempted by the oceans and the resources. I'm going to this arid area and just try and get a mega super city structure. There's even a card that specifically lets you build a city between 2 other cities, so you can build like a 3-headed city, which if you surround it all with greenery is fantastic. Okay, let's get the engine going here. So we can do a 12 and a 9 with our 21. So which 12 and which 9 do we want to do? Now this will give me, and this is already going to begin the temptation. This is why I don't play this corporation very much. Right now I have 4 heat in the bank, and I have 4 coming next month. If I just wait till next month, I'll have 8 heat plus the 1. I have 9 heat. I could spend 8 heat to raise the temperature and add to my terraforming rating, which, as I've explained numerous times already, gives you points both now and victory points. Well, no, victory points later in terms of terraforming rating, but that also converts to more money now. So let me look at my opponents. Do they even have 2 greeneries? Yeah, this guy's up to 5 already, and he's got 3. Let's see, energy. You always want to see what they're making. Yeah, green is definitely the most ahead, I would say, just by having the 4 energy per month. I wish I had 4 energy per month. So green is probably who I would throw that 2 at. So let's play that card. And we're going to try and resist the urge to spend heat resources for the moment. So I'm going to get 2 steel, raise the oxygen 1, and I have to decide who to take the 2 plants away from. I already decided I'm going to take it away from green because he's got 5. He's got the most. Sorry, buddy. Just a little screw you. I know I just said there weren't a lot of screw you cards. Well, there's a lot of cards that might have a screw you as sort of a little slide project. Okay. Now, another strategy is sometimes to slow roll, because you get 2 actions, per turn, but you only need 1 to stay in the round. Again, if you pass and take no actions, then you're done until the next generation, until the next, big set of rounds. But you only have to take 1 per turn to stay in the bidding, so to speak. Then you say, well, what's the benefit? Well, if it's something that you want to grab a piece of land immediately and you don't trust it to come back to you after the other players go, then you want to play it immediately. But when it's just boosting resources, maybe you wait to just see what the other players do before you play it, because I'm going to have to play 1 of these. This would take my greenery down 1 and production up 4, which is most likely what I'm going to play. Although, again, I'll have to spend heat to do it. Or maybe I'll give myself the greenery, lose the energy, and let's see. I do have 3 steel, actually. So, no, I can do this without having to use energy. So, just for the speed of the game, I'm going to play both cards now, even though normally I might wait just for strategic reasons. So there. So I spent... Right, it's 2 each, so I spent all 3 steel, so the price goes from 12 to 6, but I'm increasing my income by 4 per month. I'm going to have to fix the fact that I'm now going to have 0 greenery, but for now, going from 2 income per month to 6 income per month, huge deal this early on in the game. Oh, I want turn markers to end automatically, excuse me. Moves much faster. It just goes. Purple player passed. Yeah, no one has any money or cards. I have the most cards, but nothing to do with them. So it looks like we're out. So actions are cards that different color cards that you put out that you can, that stay on the board, and you can hit them once per generation if you pay what it asks for to do stuff. So like, one of the cards says, gain $2 for every city that's in play already, or pay $6 to get 3 energy or something. Like little other ways of getting resources, moving resources around, buying stuff, whatever. I don't have any of those. Those are blue cards. I don't have any blue cards right now. The red ones are events. They're one-time, effects that you just throw down on the board. Help you, maybe hurt other people, and green are building projects, which all create resources or cities or oceans or whatever that continue to benefit you or at least affect you over the course of the game. I have nothing else to do. I'm going to pass. That's the end of the generation. It's going to go through the players. I have this moving on a pretty fast speed in terms of what everyone's doing. So, you have to watch pretty quickly to see their resources go up, but it's easy enough to, the easiest thing to do is just let the computer do its calculation, get to the card buying stage, and then I can click on them and see, okay. So, right, so green is getting 30, somehow ended up with $34. I guess he saved some. He's only got 2 cards. Purple's got 4 cards. You can see how many victory points they've accrued as well. I've got 1 so far. Of course, whatever your final terraforming rating here is just straight victory points as well. Alright, here we go. What do I have? No ocean so far. Okay, so Martian Rails is a great card for later in the game. This is a blue card that you play, and then you can use once per round. And this is, you spend 1 energy, not per month, just a single unit of energy, and you get $1 for every... Really? It's not gonna describe it to me? Interesting. This means you get $1 for every city that is in play. So I don't need to use this immediately, but this could be helpful, super helpful later. So here's one of those less than ones, -14. So we're still way down at -30 degrees. So as long as I play this before we hit -14 degrees, and this is great, this is 2 plants per month. I want to get this immediately. And I'm also going to take this event because I'm committing to my heat strategy, because I'm going to be able to raise the temperature a lot, get a bunch of terraforming points for that, which leads to victory points and gold. And then once I raise it, I can keep collecting heat anyways, because I can convert heat directly into dollars. So that's fantastic for me. Taking 3 out of 4 is already a lot, and I have 7 cards. But I like all these cards a lot. I guess Martian Rails isn't amazing. I mean, it's because you have to pay 13. I don't have a lot of steel. I'm not gonna have energy. Yeah, we'll hold off on Martian Rails. Just get 2 cards for now. All right, what did they do? All right, fuel generator, lose a buck, gain an energy. All right. So, also when you hit certain points on the this one on the O2 and these 3 points on the temperature, you get bonuses. But again, it's nice to be able to time raising the temperature or raising the oxygen to getting those bonuses, but it's not the be all end all. It's a nice little side benefit. It's equivalent to just placing a tile on a tile that shows resources. It's a one-time thing. It's nice. It does add up if you do enough of them, but it shouldn't build your strategy around it. So, okay. So I don't need to rush to raise the heat by 1. I just need to do it before the end of the rounds, and I can spend 1 heat and still have the 8 that I need to raise the temperature by 1. So I could drop this big guy. I don't think anyone has 8 green resources yet now, so that would be a waste. It's too early for that. I do have 2 titanium though, so let's increase the heat even more. Let's push the heat up. I have 1. Let's see. I want to get all of these. So how do I get? So what's this gonna cost me? It's only gonna cost me $1, and I can spend 1 more, so I can take it for free. And it's gonna give me heat and heat per month. Awesome. That was fantastic. And now I'm going to go for the extra 16, and I should still be able to afford. Let's see, this goes from 9 to 7. Yeah, I should be able to afford both of these 2 cards. So no. So right, so now I just gain more heat, so I theoretically could use some of it to offset the cost, but I'm gonna hold on to my heat for now and try and I want to keep raising the temperature and getting those terraforming rating points, which lead to money and victory points. So this is a game when you play a lot of that, since I just make the turns go super fast. It's not that I ignore the other players, but I'm only watching for players who are pulling way ahead in one area or certain areas, or if they're like getting all the milestones or the awards, or if they're just playing like really powerful cards early on. Like there's little things where I'll start to pay attention to it, and I will check their bars and their tags, their actions, their money, etc. But this isn't a game. This is a game where you can still win by mostly just paying attention to yourself. Now, when you're in person with people, because of how kind of competitive and tense this can get, as the things start filling up and your moves the number of moves you have start lessening in number, it adds a human component. But when you're just playing AI, you can kind of see where the strategies are going and focus on the things that you're kind of worried about going forward. I said this earlier. I said that the oxygen, since it only has, it only goes to 14%. It starts at 0, so it only has 14 notches. Because of that, and because there's just by putting a greenery down, you raise oxygen, and there's other ways to raise oxygen. This is almost always the first one to fill up. And one thing that the AI likes to do is raise the oxygen fast and then use animal cards, which just give you free victory points, or have animals that like eat other animals and give them stuff. They like to get these blue animal cards where you need to have a certain amount of oxygen on the planet for them to accrue. I'm going to do this. So I'm going to lose an energy and gain another greenery. Do I want to do that? I kind of want to be getting energy. Can't do any standard projects. Milestones, you have to actually hit the milestone, and it'll tell you when you hit it 3 city tiles, 3 greenery tiles, 8 building tags. Awards you can fund at any point, but you're also potentially funding someone else getting it. So yeah, not ideal. All right, so why don't we play this? We'll get a victory point, lose a power, but we're only going to pay 7, and we'll get that greenery going so we can start putting forests around our cities. We only have 1 city as of now. Alright. I can't do anything else. Because I could afford this with my heat bonus. Using it as money, but we don't have 3 oceans down. We have no oceans down, so we raise the temperature by 1. So this goes up 1, it goes to 22, and so this counts towards victory points at the end and the money I'm getting per month. So all around great. And you are trying to sort of collectively finish the game, but depending on your strategy, you may or may not try and rush it. There are reasons actually where you might realize, even like early and mid game, that you're playing a strategy that you want to end the game as quickly as possible to stop the other players from doing things. Like if other players if other players are building a much bigger economy than you early on, you want to try and catch up, but you also want to make sure that they don't keep having chances to steamroll those economies where they just get so powerful that they're building tons of stuff or just getting tons of victory points. Alright, so here we go. So I have to pass because I have nothing else to do, and I'll be first player next generation. How much money am I getting per month? 5, 6, 7? I'd love to throw down another city this time. I'm not loaded with great cards, so it's not. So I have 29, so I can buy 1 card. Man, I could really go crazy with heat. I feel like I have to. It's, because this is just another way to make money, both now and later on in the game. So you just steamroll that ability that you have, and this will only cost me 6 anyways with the titanium. That's just a really cheap thing. Open city. So this is 23. Oh, you need 12% oxygen. That's a long way away. Chem factory is getting rid of energy production for victory points. That's not normally worth it. And this is a special forest tile and increases your production by 2 steps, but unless you have a bunch of steel to offset the cost, it's really not that great of a deal. So I'm just going to get even more energy, and we're going to focus on that. Oh, but I could play Deimos down as well. Are any of them at 8 greener yet? Not yet. That's 7. It's almost worth it for 7, because that would raise my thing. This will raise my monthly by 3. So this is 3 more victory points and 3 more bucks per month. Let's see. Purple, green. Do I think I'm getting? Yeah, green's getting. I don't want to hit green with the yeah, let's play. Let's see. What would this? Oh, I can't afford it anyways without. Yeah, I can't afford that yet. Yeah, we're not gonna worry about that. So 6, and then I could save $1 more. But right. So do I want to get a city this month? Is the question. I think we'd be patient for now, and we go for this guy. We use 1. Yeah, and yeah, we'll just spend it down to 20 bucks. There we go. Increase my heat to 7 per month, which is pretty wild. That's a lot. Now I'm going to increase the temperature at some point. Now I could just save the $20. I have no more cards I can play. I can buy a city, but again, it will come at the expense of my ability to get the to raise the temperature 1 point. I could throw an ocean down somewhere. Actually, that might not be such a bad idea. Start planting the ocean tiles. Placing tile next to an ocean gives you 2 per adjacent. Wait. This is one I always mess up. Right, I'll get the TR. Placing a tile next to an ocean. Right, so if I start building oceans up here, then I'll get money just by throwing a greenery there. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do standard project, aquifer. Not going to decrease the cost. And I'm going to put the ocean right. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'll take the extra 2 cards at this point. I'm going to want to build all these oceans if possible. Green player, dust seals, just a straight victory point. That's it. Just buying victory points. Let's see. They lose a little power now for a lot of heat. Now. Purple player's turn. So he built the city, so they're fighting over this property over here, which is great for me. And so, right, so the AI always builds, and this was a strategy I talked about early on if you joined me earlier on when I was still buying cards and just explaining the game, which is every time you build a greenery, oxygen goes up 1 point, but there's only 14 slots, and then after that you can still build greeneries and benefit that in the post game when you're counting up victory points, but you don't get the terraforming point now that you get by building a greenery while there still is oxygen in the bar to fill up. But that one victory point is not necessarily enough because a greenery costs 23, but a city's 25. If you just spend it on cities early on and use it and build them strategically so that you can zone off a whole area of the map, you just drop a whole bunch of greeneries later and you just sit on it. It's not like those are going anywhere other than cards that might steal it from me. Okay, so I did get 2 cards. I could get this card, which you'd spend 4 energy to get 1 steel and 1 oxygen. Totally not worth it. That's super expensive, and I don't want to spend my heat to do that now. Don't want to do any of that stuff, so I'm going to raise the heat by 1. Raise my terraforming rating. I'm not going to be able to do any of my cards, so we'll skip. Green player's turn. Heat conversion. So they're raising the heat as well. I guess they got the bonus. So, right. So there's one where maybe I could have waited and gotten the bonus when it came back to me, but he might have not played it if the bonus wasn't there, so. Alright, so still can't play any cards, got no action, so I'm just going to have to end to the next generation, and so it moves on. I'm not really blocking a lot, but I guess I should move my... Why won't it let me change the video capture device? Yeah, this has been a recurring problem. I can't change my... Alright, let's see if this works. Oh, was it locked? Was that why it wasn't letting me do it? Alright. Whoa! Hello. Sorry about that. Let me just get this reset real quick. My apologies. Right, so where can I put it where it's not? Yeah, it's really not a big deal here. The only thing it cuts off is effects, but that's not really important. So I'll just make myself smaller. You can see how many actions I have, and you can see the entire bar there. Okay, sorry about that. I should have done that earlier. Alright, buy up to 4 cards. Alright, so this is for every plant tag that you have. So far I only have 0 plant tags. You get production, but I have no plant tags. And will I be getting... I have 1 plant tag. I only have 1 plant tag in hand, so that's not great. Ice Asteroid drops 2 oceans. I don't have a lot of titanium to offset that. This is an ocean in a card. I don't have titanium to offset that. And then this is a sort of mini game when you do microbes, where you put on 1 microbe on a card and then another one, and then you cash it in and it gives you a thing, and it's just a lot of moving cubes around, even digitally. That's annoying as hell. It does give you something to do per turn when you have nothing else going on, but we're already at 5 oxygen out of the 14, so I'm not even going to... Because this takes 3 turns, because you have to put 1 down and then another and then spend it. So every 3 turns to get 1 oxygen for this much money, just not worth it. I'm just going to save my money and get no cards. Alright, so they just dropped a card where now every time someone builds a city, they get $2 for it. Very straightforward. They raise their heat production. Purple player's turn. Imported hydrogen. They got a whole bunch of stuff. that put an ocean down. How many? Just one? Alright. This actually does work towards my strategy a little bit, depending on how I build. Alright, that's a mining thing, so they put it on a mining space with mining resources, and they get extra resources per month for doing so, and they put it right next to my ocean, which is what I was afraid of. So, already my plan has been foiled. So the next way to start building, because I can build a city here, but I was hoping to maybe build a city here, but I can build a city here and get a three-way thing going on, and then continue it down this way as well. I think here's where I want to put my next city. Can I put any cities? Yeah, I'm just gonna go straight for the standard project. Build a city, decrease costs. No, we wanna keep getting that monthly heat goodness. So I'm gonna put it here. I'll get $2 for that. But I also close off 2 tiles here that are only forest greeneries for me. Well, not this one yet, but I will have a city here soon. Oh, and I have enough for a greenery, and so I can do that. So I could wait till there are oceans here. It would give me $2 for each ocean, but really it's not that important. It's better to get the greenery down, get the point. Now, take the tile and get the 2 greeneries that are there. So I'm gonna plant a forest. Yay, my first greenery tile. Boom. And at the end of the game, I get another point for that tile, and then another point for being next to the city, and then another point for being next to the city. So that's at least a 4-point play, not to mention the money that it's getting me. So they put an ocean down, but again, you only benefit, you put a tile next to an already existing ocean. So I would only benefit by putting tiles here or continuing their ocean. Okay, so he lowered his... they took 1 plan away from me. I can deal with that. They played some card that took 1 plan away from me. That's not the worst thing in the world. Alright, here I am. So I'm still waiting to raise it. So if I can raise the oxygen one, right, I would get an extra temperature bump as well as a bonus. I don't think I have anything to do that unless I buy this Iron Marks card, but I can't use it because I'm not producing any energy. This is definitely the time to play this card here. I was waiting for 3 oceans. So while I lose the 2 greeneries I have, I increase my monthly by 2, which means I'm getting 4 a month instead of 2. So I'm doubling my monthly, and there's at least 4 or 5 more turns probably. So in the end, and it only costs $8, which is really all I have. For sure playing this. So every 2 turns, if I do nothing else, I'll have enough to buy a greenery tile. I'm not going to play that card. I don't really want it, so I'm going to raise the temperature by 1. Go up to 16. This one's moving pretty quick, actually. Alright, they're building a greenery tile right there. There's a thing where it zooms in. Maybe that would be better for the watcher. Planet motion. Do this thing where it zooms in. Display automatically next player. Automatic opponent actions display. Confirmation pop-up. There should be a thing where it zooms in. But maybe on the computer version they don't do it. On the mobile version, you know, when you're doing it on your phone, you can have it so, you know, zooms into the tile in case you're having trouble seeing where especially your opponents are placing the tile. All right, I have $1. I can't afford any cards. I'm passing, and I'm done for the generation. Generation 5. So yeah, so it's, I mean, the 2 DLCs are great. If I haven't already paid for them multiple times, don't want to pay for them again, I would for sure get them. The 2 other maps are more fun than this map, I think, overall, the base map. And the cards that you get are great. And then the Preludes one, which is just adds cards that you play and sort of turn 0 to get your economy going, does help speed up the game a little bit and help you focus your strategy kind of early on, which is nice. All right, pets. So pets is great because there's a card called Bears that you can play when the temperature gets to a certain rating. And all bears do is that each turn you can steal 1 animal from someone else. You know, the bear's eating the animal or whatever, I guess, theoretically. But pets, because they're so cute and it's a board game, pets are immune to... it doesn't actually say it here. Wait. Yeah, oh, here it is. Animals may not be removed from this card. It's the only animal card you can't do it. So you add 1 animal to this card and get 1 VP for every 2 animals on the card. And you get it when any city tile is placed. So not just me, but anybody else. So I'm for sure going to get the pets. Let's see. Algae. When an ocean is played, gain 2 points. Is that any ocean or when I play an ocean? That's actually not bad, because there's still 6 oceans to go. I really need to start getting energy. Are we at near 4 degrees? This is such a great card. +2 money, +2 plants, and another 2 plants. But not till you hit 4 degrees, which is like almost the end of the game. It is 2 victory points. What do I have to be playing right now? I'm tempted to get that. Yeah, we'll take it for the victory points and spend them later. Alright, getting more energy per month is purple player. And standard city project, where you can throw the city, throwing it down here. So green and purple are fighting for territory over here. This is just a screw you move, the mining area. Alright, I have 28, so I could build a 3rd city here, which I'm very tempted to do. Pets would be great to play first, of course, because, let's see, that would be 38. Sorry, it would cost, I have $28. I could actually get pets and use my heat money just this month, and I could get pets and the city. I'd be down to $0, but it's actually a pretty good economical move, because I'm not going to raise the temperature this month. So I can decrease this by 7. This will cost me 3, leaving me with $25, which is the exact amount you need for a city. And I'm already going to start benefiting, because the effect here is when any city tile is placed, add an animal to this card. And so I'll place that city and add that animal. Added that animal. Alright, so now the question is, where am I placing the city? I got 3 city tiles, so when I place it, I'll be eligible for the mayor thing. I'll have to wait to get that next round. That's 8 free points. Alright, here comes the city. So there's a few options here. There's a lot of options. I could go here, and that would make this ineligible for them, this ineligible for them, this ineligible for them. In terms of when I say ineligible, meaning I can put down greenery tiles, I would be able to then put down greenery tiles here that they would not be able to benefit from at all. They could put a city tile up here, they could put one here. Let's see, if I put the city here, they could still build a city here potentially. And I'm not benefiting, but I'm not benefiting from the water anyways. Yeah, I mean, just sort of mathematically, it's more ideal. Again, having this big ocean right through the middle of the map really reduces the city building strategy, which is why I do actually the worst on this map of the 3 maps when I'm playing on my other devices where I have the DLC, because this really screws up my city building strategy a lot. So it's got to go to one of these places here. I could get a card that's going to play this later, the Tharsis Tholis card. This would give me how many slots? 1 protected, 2 protected. This is already protected. All right, let's go here. We'll do the troika, as I like to think of it. And I get another pet. So that's already another victory point. Every 2 pets is a victory point. Cool. Whoa, raising their heat 7 a month. So this is what I said would happen, was that I would commit to this heat strategy where I was raising the temperature a lot with tons of heat and getting points. But this guy is already way past me with 17 per month. What do I have? I have 7 per month. And so all of a sudden my heat strategy is not really doing much for me, especially since I've already started using it as money. I'm not supposed to using it as heat. Oops. There we go. I have no bucks. I can't do anything. I've got no actions. I can't afford anything. Oh, they bought the mayor tag already. I'm not terraforming. You can only get 3 of these. 16 cards when you claim the milestone. That'll never happen. I could get to 8 building tags. Yeah, getting to the terraforming rating faster would be the way to go, but I don't have anything else to do this turn. Well, they increased the ocean, so that'll give me some money when I start putting forests down there. They're probably going to pass 2. Alright. End of the generation. Everyone gets their stuff. I get bumped up to first player, which is great. Of course, you also already have to be planning for being then last player. It's part of being first player. I mean, this game, because again, there can be a lot of math just with every single action. In person, 3 is a great number. 4 is great too. It just takes longer. And it's the same thing with the AI. I sometimes play against 3 other AIs for 4 total players, but it just moves much faster with only 2 others. You can do more moves. The map doesn't close up quite as quickly. All right, so here's breathing filters. Over 7%. We are there. I can't. And it's it's just 2 straight victory points for $11, which is a good deal. Especially later on in the game when you have just money to spend. The strip mining is nice because you get terraforming points for the oxygen, and while you're losing monthly energy production, increasing your minerals, which I really need because I'm still at only 1 a month for both steel and titanium, which isn't a lot. Search for life is just you flip a card and you get 3 victory points if you happen to get a science card. There aren't that many science cards. It's not worth it. Anyways, we're already above 6 oxygen, so it doesn't do anything. So take the breathing filters. Let's see. The asteroid with my 3 titanium will only cost $5. And it gives me some of that titanium back, so that's a good deal too. So I will take that. All right. So now again, the question remains: do I buy a city? I need to get energy production somehow, but I think I'm just gonna throw down the Deimos down bomb. I'm sure one of my opponents has 8. No, he's got 6, but he's getting 3 per month. It's still worth it. I get a bunch of a steel, and raising the temperature 3 points is great. And I get to sort of hurt my enemy a little bit. So we'll spend the 3 that we have. It'll cost 22. Again, because I'm just going to start spending this as money now because I'm already raising the temperature by 3 and I don't have enough to raise it using my normal resources. So this will actually only cost me 15 to play instead of 31. Who did we say we were going to take from? I think we said green, right? Because they're getting 3. Purple, I mean, because they're... Yeah. I can only take 6. You can take from yourself, which is funny. But because purple's generating 3 per month, I'm going to take from them. Sorry, purple. There goes all your forests, or I should say greenery resources. Now I have enough for greenery. I also have enough for just breathing filters, but that's just 2 victory points, and we're already over 7%. So I can play that literally anytime. So the better move here, since we're running out of O2, so you want to get those greenery tiles out. So I get 1 point added to my TR rating for that, and I get 1 point at the end of the game for the forest, but then I get 1, 2, 3 the cities. So that was a 5 victory point move, basically, plus 1 extra buck per month. So that's exactly why I like building cities like this, because I know if I have 3 or 4 cities cloistered together in the right geometrical formation, that protects myself from being able to build cities near me, that even if I build my greenery tiles late, I'll still be able to build them late and benefit from that in the final accounting during the post game when you're counting up victory points. All right, my turn. Do I have any money? I have $13. Great. I have no heat to spend. I do have tons that I could spend on any building projects, which are the brown houses here. But again, this blue card I don't want. So the question is, do I save my $13 or do I? There's really no rush to get these 2 victory points whatsoever, because this does nothing until counting at the end of the game. So whether I get it now or later makes no difference. I'm getting close to the terraforming rating of 35. It would be nice to raise that. It also would be nice to have energy. So I'm actually gonna. I don't normally do this, but we're already entering towards the late game. More than halfway done the oceans and 2/3 done temperature and oxygen, but I've been generating no energy, and I do have some cards that require that I have some, and so we're just gonna do that. We'll save the $2 that we have. We'll skip, go to green player's turn. Oh, he's got an immigrant city, so this is a very cheap city that you can build anywhere on the map, but it does take some monthly income, I think, away from you because it's an immigrant city, so it's a drain on your resources, at least initially. All right, they're raising the temperature. Yeah, man, it's a good thing I diversified. This guy getting 17 per month plus the 3. I mean, so this guy is getting enough heat per month to make 2.5 steps per generation on the temperature track, and we're almost at the 8 degrees Celsius, which is the max, after which it doesn't matter if you have heat. So then I won't even have to think twice about spending heat on yeah, I'm done. I'm done for the generation. Once the temperature bar is filled up, you know, adding more temps doesn't do anything for your terraforming rating. So you just, you know, with my power, I can use the heat income I am getting as straight cash money. Yeah, I missed the last few moves. What did they do? Heat conversion, award, funding awards. Okay. Sorry. Let me, no, that's fine. Okay, let's see. I don't want more heat production. We're almost at the end game here. This one ended really fast. All right, research Dutch was interesting. When you play a card, you pay 1 ME less for it, just in general, which is nice. I also have a ton of steel, so this is a no-brainer. My income does go down 1 per month. I think that's what this is saying. But that's, at this point, that's fine. Going from 8 to 7. Wait, that doesn't even make sense. Oh, is that it? Oh, I just can't play it next to any other tile. That's the only thing. Alright, so we're going to get that. Small animals. Now, if I get small animals, I can start playing it for victory points. But again, it's just placing tiles on tiles and hoping that they don't have the bear card to eat my stuff. This helps shift the conditions that you need to get something. I'm just going to get the research outpost and stay at that. Alright, he did air braking, so we get the break on space event cards. Livestock, there you go. Alright, they're starting to add the animals now that the temperature and oxygen going up. That's just victory points, so... and now he's doing fish. So now they're both doing ones where, you know, the more generations we go, they're getting more victory points. So at this point, I would like to get my terraforming rating up a little bit and get some more victory points. But I kind of want to end this game, or at least not let it go too long. All right, first thing we're gonna do is get the city. And I got tons of money, so it's gonna be free. I don't even have to spend heat. That's great. And it can't be next to any other tile, but that actually works out okay for me because I was gonna maybe take this one here. I don't really have another choice, but that will allow me to. Yeah, see, this is where the ocean screws you, even before the ocean tiles are placed, because otherwise I have to start way down here. Now, I could go here just to throw off any kind of area control that they might be trying to get from this area, but I wouldn't be maximizing. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do it just to screw with them. Let's see if I go here, and then I can go here and get money. So, yeah, we'll take this one just to... because we are falling behind a little bit in the main categories, and so screwing with their area control in the south is not a terrible strategic move. All right, get the asteroid. We only have one more temp anyways. It would be 13. I could still afford to get a city. Right, all of a sudden this farming card isn't looking so great because I don't have that many generations left to take advantage of it. So we are going to drop an asteroid, get that last little bit on the temperature scale, and we're going to use all of our heat production, so it's only going to cost us $3. I also get to steal 3, or at least take away 3. Let's see, green has 7 but is generating 0. Purple has 8, but is generating 3. Purple is definitely the one that's getting it. Alright. So now the temperature bar is full. Capital. Alright. Expensive. Assuming they're putting these next to an ocean, probably right here. Yeah, so I didn't really do a whole lot other than I'm sort of between them now. And you know, if they start building forests around my city, though, I get points from that at the end of the game. And so, in that sense, it's also not a bad strategy. That was sort of the secondary plan, in addition to just area control, is I know they're going to start building forests around this area. Or they have to build it up here, which is also would benefit my city. So in both cases, I've kind of pushed them. I don't know. Let's see. Where's the camera going to say? No. This way. Am I reversed? Yeah. I'm pushing them this way. I'm pushing them to the west. You know, I basically, I mean, they do have this one city here, the green player, but mostly I've gotten in the middle and forced them to kind of ghettoize themselves over here. Okay. So I can still afford a city. We're really almost done the game, so this farming thing is only going to be worth it for the victory points more than the income, to be honest with you. Especially because I'd like to build I mean, is it worth it to build one more city at this point? Where would I build it, is the question. I know where I'd build it. Oh, are there milestones first? No. That's another problem. The milestones and awards are going to kill me, unless I benefit from one of the awards. But I'm in last place at both of the awards right now. So we'll get the city. We'll build it here. We'll get some money back from that, from the oceans. And we can connect some more forest tiles around here to benefit from that. Of course, I have to start getting forest tile resources. Alright, I can get breathing filters. Does nothing for me. I'm not going to be able to get that terraforming rating. That's a problem. Green is going to get to 35 and take the terraforming rating milestone, and then I'll have no milestones, which is not great. Do I want to save the money? Well, it's not going to end before next turn. The only thing I have are these 2 victory points. There's no rush to spend that. However, I can do the underground city thing and get even yet another city if I increase my power. So I'm going to do that. Because I have to spend my 2 monthly power in order to make that happen. He did another plant conversion, put it there so that doesn't touch me. Of course, I'm going to build my city here, which will be really fun. So then green can only build, at that point if I put my city here, any forest tiles they build will benefit me as well. Alright, I can't do it till next month though. Dope! Alright, I got nothing to do. I got no actions. I don't play a lot of blue cards, which are the action cards, because they're often not worth the costs. They're bad trade value, or, you know, they're too reliant on building up oxygen and temperature, which, you know, go up faster and usually finish before oceans, which are almost always the last thing, because oceans are the least good investment without special cards, or unless you have a very specific plan for oceans. Alright. So here's one that's just 3 straight victory points for 10 bucks, which is great, but I need to have microbe tag, an animal tag, and a plant tag. I don't know if I have any of those. Oh, I do. Oh, I have all of those. Okay. Alright, so now I'm playing the victory point game. Now we are playing just straight up victory point game. I'm going to get shuttles, because while playing a space card with reduction, oh, I'm not going to be able to play shuttles, though, because I need... Oh, but wait, I also have space mirrors for 3. Interesting. Not that many turns left. God, this is a tough call. Alright, we'll see if we can make this happen. Let's see if we can make this happen. I have a lot of cards for it being the end of the game. I almost always end up with unplayed cards. It's just... The only thing that's giving me hope I can have a couple more turns to make stuff happen is we still need to make 3 oceans. So right, so now building heat does nothing. I don't even know why they give you the option. Alright. Plants, however, there's still 2 more slots on the O2, so I definitely want to build the plant. The greenery tile. The best place to build that could be here, or it could be here. No tiles are going here because of the cities, unless there's like I said, there's one tile that you specifically put between two cities, so they could potentially benefit from that. But I'll get some money back from the ocean here and a greenery resource, so I'm going to do that. Raise temperature, the O2 level to 13, whatever, 13 units. And now I've got tons of stuff, lots of victory points. But I think we decided we wanted to build that other city, the underground city. Do we want to do it? Now, predators will let me take off other people's animals stuff, but I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if the underground city's worth it at this point, to be honest with you. Because I need to get forests out there. I mean, this would give me... I can do both. Because I can save these two. Let's see, shuttles is... We pay a space card. Do I have any other space cards? No. Oh, maybe. How much did I pay last? 2 less for it? It's a tough call. I think I have to go for the farming. Get it as cheap as possible. See if I can buy my way into a few more greenery tiles for victory points. Alright, goes to green player. So yeah, this game's almost done. It's really just dependent on someone finishing the oceans. But again, because they're both playing blue animal cards, which just give them free victory points every generation, I don't want this to drag on too long. Luckily, this guy who has 40 heat and is getting 17 per turn doesn't have my special power, or he would be so rich because he just turned that all into straight cash. Yep, there's birds. Just giving him victory points. That's okay. I'm getting mine from the pets, which they can't take away from me. So I love pets card. That was nice to get that early. Let's see. Build it here. I get a greenery here. Yeah, let's do it. Screw it. I like building cities. Don't have too many options. This is the clear one. So even if a greenery gets built here, I still benefit more because I'll get 2 cities worth of points as opposed to just 1. I'd love to be able to drop a greenery right now, but I'm a bit short. Unless I have a card. Do I have one to raise oxygen and just end that? Again, these are just straight victory points, which I can... As long as the game doesn't end on me when I'm not ready for it. I think... Why can't I do shuttles? Oh, because I don't have the power. I don't have the power. And I did get another city card. So yeah, this is actually looking worth it. Spend 7 to get... I mean, there's only going to be 1 or 2 more generations to get that energy, but... You know, you're usually actually paying in energy per month, not in actual accrued energy. So sometimes you know, you add 2 or 3 to your monthly, and then immediately spend it on a negative cost that involves it for building a city card, as I just did with my underground city, and I have another one, Cupola City. Though I forgot to check whether that was... That might be one I can't... I'll wait till my turn. That might be one I can't play with the current terraforming situation. Alright. So I only have $6. Yep, I didn't get any of the milestones. Do I have any of the awards? Nope. First, second place, third place, nothing. Yeah. Definitely gonna lose. First game back. Definitely gonna lose it. Now I can start selling cards to pay for cards, and I have the energy to get shuttles. It costs 9. I don't, so I'd have to sell 3 cards to get that. Cupola, right, as I thought, is already gone. So what I'm gonna do is sell. I'm gonna sell the bears. I'm gonna sell the ironworks, and I'm gonna sell the Cupola City. That'll give me $9, and for my second action, I can then play shuttles, which I'm mostly just playing for the victory points, but if I end up having space cards, there's only 1 or 2 generations left. This game is almost over. Luckily, I'm first player next turn. Could maybe just end the game next turn. Just buy the oceans. Alright, I got no money. They already passed, so I know I'm not missing anything by passing. It's just going to end the generation, and we have 1, maybe 2 more generations, and then final scoring. Deck reshuffled. Went through all 100 plus cards. Alright, so I have 2 cards left. These are just 10 and 10. Plus I have another 9. I have $45, but I really have 54. So I can easily get the 25. These 5 victory points are going to save me. Is there anything else, though, that helps me now? This would help me because I could throw the plant on. I could throw the animal onto the pets. Get 3 leaves, and I can pay for most of it so even though this extra $2 a month doesn't matter, the other things plus the victory point and the fact that I can pay for it is actually pretty good. None of these other ones are going to do anything for me long term, so we're going to forget about that. So first thing we're going to do is, that's a good question actually, can I afford a city and all of these cards, because it might end this turn. How much do I have right now? I have 51 bucks. So this would cost me 35. So no, I couldn't do that. I do 2 of these and hope. I think there's gonna be another turn. I don't think. Do they have enough to? He's got enough to buy oceans. They have enough to buy oceans and end the game. Is the problem? So I have to play this like this is my last. This is my last hands. All right, let me play this first. Get this as cheap as possible, which is free, which is great. So I put the, I get 3 plants and put something on my pets for more victory points, assuming more people build cities. And then I'm gonna, oh, there is still 1 more O2. I thought that had gotten filled out. Okay, so I will benefit from this. Yeah, I don't think I want to pay for another city at this point. I don't have any that will give me 3 cities at once. This will give me a card. I guess they could then build a city here and benefit from it. So, is that not ideal? I was hoping to have built a city there. I still can. Yeah, let's risk it. I bet you anything they're going to build a city there, but that will mean they won't be able to build the ocean. That's just converting a bunch of heat to other stuff. So if those 2 oceans don't get made this generation, we do go through 1 more generation at least until the oceans get filled up to 9 out of 9. Purple, more fish. Yeah, these victory points are starting to add up for them with those animal cards. So the question is, am I feeling lucky that they won't build oceans? They both still have more than enough money to build the oceans needed to end the game. So I'm feeling like I should take the victory points while I have them. But if I do that, I have $22. Not enough for a city. But if I put a city here, I would get just, let's see. I would get 1 extra victory point for this. It's not worth it. All right, let's cash in. We'll cash in on our victory points, and at least we just won't regret not having bought those. And I can sell my other card actually, and be able to buy greenery because I have 22. That would give me 23 when I sell the other card. So that's actually really nice. All right, where does he put his city? Right here, exactly where I said he would. That's fine. I got good points for that that one there. And I'm still making it hard for them to build greenery tiles that I won't benefit from, which always pisses off. I can like feel the AI's board gamer salt. All right, so I'm not going to use that card. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell this card for $1. Then we're going to have 23. And that's enough for a standard project forests, which I won't get a point for now because we filled up the O2 bar, but I will get a point for it later, and then 2 more points because it's touching 2 cities. So still a 3 victory point move. Oh no, there's green, right? And the milestones are, I was like, oh, I could get the milestone for 35 terraforming rating. Nope, he's got it already. Alright, well, I got no cards, no money, no actions, so it looks like we're going to have another turn with me in the last player place, unless they just shell out for oceans, which they are not want to do. You don't see the AI pay for oceans, because they're kind of expensive for just giving you 1 terraforming point, especially because you don't benefit from the oceans until you build next to them, so you just get a little bit of money back in 1 TR point. Better to just use cards. There's plenty of cards that let you build multiple oceans at once while you're doing other stuff. Wow, these games do go long. I totally forgot about that. I know I'm explaining a lot. Hour and a half feed for 1 terraforming Mars game? Yeah, this game can go on a while. Alright. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything. I have 48 bucks. I don't have anywhere to put a city, even if I wanted to. I can put a city here. But at this point, I really just want to be buying greenery tiles. Now, this would give me 2 greenery now, and then there is, even when the game ends, you do get 1 last round of monthly incomes. So I have a potential. I mean, I guess this could go 2 more rounds. Plus, I'd get the. This is tempting. I have no cards. I need something. How many plant tags do I have? I have 4 plant tags, but I have nowhere to put these microbes anyways, even if I did. I could pull, maybe, no, that won't do anything. No, I have 1 card. All right, 1 card. There's predators. That's the card where you eat other people's animals, but they can't eat my pets because pets are immune from being eaten by bears, which I love. Can't eat my pets with your bears. Alright, so let's finish up this game, and then we'll get to the victory points. I'll take a break, and then maybe play another in a little bit. Yeah, it's just them adding tokens. And the thing is, you know, there's so much just moving with Euro games in general, even the best ones, like this one. There's just a lot of moving tokens and stuff around. It's great that the theme is so strong in this. You really feel like you're building competitively, building a Mars colony. And it's just such a well-balanced game. But actually it looks much better digitally. The pieces, like the board looks okay. It's just a lot of cubes. It's not like the most like attractive thing ever. So alright, so at this point I think I just want to start getting greeneries where I can. Now this is going to get me up to 7. It'd be nice if I could drop a greenery. What was I gonna say? It'd be nice if I could drop a greenery tile on a greenery, but it's not really optimal at the moment. Is it worth dropping another city? I think this is the only space on the board where I could even drop one, and then I have to build towards it. Yeah, it's not worth it. So let's do the kelp farming first. Spend all my stuff. So it's only $7, so that's not a big deal. Mathematically, I will still probably only get to build 1 more greenery that I'm not paying with cash, but you never know. Alright, I don't want to give it to them. This would give me, I could drop it here, but I'm still 2 away from getting an extra greenery next month, and then they benefit off that. So I'm going to go for 1 where I know it's touching my 2 cities, and they're not going to be able to get a piece of that. Oh, what did he just build? Oh, he built the Ganymede colony. Yeah, that's just a one-time victory point thing as far as I can tell. Unless you also have effects, which some of the other players do, where they just get points for cities. I should have gotten... Yeah, why didn't I get a... I think it just did it automatically. Sometimes it tells you to put it on the path. Sometimes it does it automatically. Card resources. Yeah. He dropped it. Birds, blue card. Okay, I'm just have to assume that I got it. All right, so now I have $15 and no cards, but we still need 2 more oceans to just finish this thing. I can't afford anything that does anything for me. That's important. I have no action to take. I have no cards. The awards and milestones are gone, so I'm just gonna pass and either they finish off the oceans and end the game now, or we go to a generation 12, which is a long game. But they're not going to. They're going to keep building. They're doing what they should be doing, which is keep building greeneries around their cities and not waste it on the oceans. And they're both benefiting each generation from these animal cards that they have. So the longer the game goes on, the more victory points they get just for doing nothing. Alright, well there's one ocean. Are they doing it? No, there's another greenery. But I get a little bit of that. I got a little bit of this one too, see? So I'm gonna not get killed because I have a decent amount of I have a decent placement of my 6 cities in terms of the way that this board is split down the middle with this giant ocean. And I managed to get victory points through just playing cards. And so I'm not too far back in terraforming rating, but I don't think, well, we'll see. But I think they've got enough victory points. All right, at this point I have so much money, and so now you just want to buy victory points. That'll be free. This will essentially be free. That's all victory points. I don't want to lose any greenery at this point. But at least now I'll be able to put down 2 more forests at least. Alright, well, he just dropped a big one. Got a whole bunch of resources, including a victory point. Or a terraforming rating, I should say. Alright. Here are my cards. So the mangrove, I didn't even think about putting this reserved for an ocean. Well, it's not going to raise the oxygen, but I will get the point for it. Where's an area reserved for an ocean that would benefit me? Nowhere? I guess I put it here. I might end up just getting a city anyways. This interesting conundrum. I get one city here, one there, one there, one there. Actually, this could work. This could work. Huh. Alright. Let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to take this one here. Get an ocean tile. So that's $2 next to another ocean tile. And a green. And now before they can do it, I'm going to build a city here. Now I'm very, very close because when I drop a greenery here, it's going to give me 2 more greeneries, which will give me 24 total at the end of the game, which lets me build more forests. So unless they steal from me, which is possible, I'll be able to pretty much max out the amount of greenery tiles that are effective in terms of giving me points and not them. But making sure their cities aren't touching it, or at least making sure I have more cities touching than they do when I place it. All right, there it is. All right, so terraforming's finished. The last ocean was placed, so Generation 12 will be the last turn. It'll keep going till everyone runs out of actions and passes. We'll have one last round where we get resources, but the only reason that's important is because it might allow you to build another greenery tile, and indeed that will be the case for me. Well, wait, no, I'm at 22, but watch this. So I can build 2 already right now because it's 8. So I have 16. So we put 1. Oh, they put the ocean there. Those fuckers. Those fuckers. Oh my god. Totally screwed me. And that's not even, that was a special. Yeah, he played Artificial Lake. Oh man, he totally screwed me. The AI really beat me this game. It was a little bit of me beating myself, but definitely they beat me. I still have to get 2 greeneries in order to make this worth it. I can do it. It's just not in the best places. If I can put one more, I'll put one more down here, then I can get another one at the end of the game, which I'll put here. Yeah. All right. Let us end this. God. This game can. I'm telling you, if you get into this game and play it fast on your phone or your iPad or whatever, I mean, it just passes time like nothing else. And this is with me not paying that much attention to what they're doing if it's not on the board. Like, I'm looking at all the cards, I'm seeing their resources go up. I am monitoring it, but I'm not like closely analyzing every single move they make, because then the game really goes freaking forever. Alright, so I can still afford another city, but there's no place to put it. I'm going to get another greenery tile, but I can afford to buy at least one more greenery tile as well. I have this windmills card, which is power I don't need, but it's free, so I'm going to play it for the victory point. That's my first turn, and then for my second turn, I'm going to buy a forest, and I'm going to put that forest, I guess, here, because I know I'm going to put one here, but I should, you know what, I should put it here. Let's see. How does this, I always forget how this works. And I don't want to go to the main menu. Bonus. Why do I get a 3 bonus? I guess it's counting at the end of the game. I should just take it before they put it there. I mean, it gives me 3 victory points and then 1, so I'm not really losing anything. Actually, because of my city placement, I'm getting a lot of forest tiles next to my my cities from them. That might add up to a lot. That's where the big points are for me usually. It's going to be called cities in the accounting sheet at the end when the victory points are being tallied, but what they mean by cities is the greeneries next to all your cities. And if you look where mine are, they're almost all surrounded. All right, 15 bucks left. Whoops, excuse me, and no cards. I don't think I can do anything that does anything. And tiebreaker is money, so you don't want to spend money to just spend money. So I am going to pass and be done for this game. So now I'm just waiting for green and purple to finish. They putting another greenery tile also benefits me. I don't know why they put a greenery tile down. I guess they get 1 point for that, but I also get a point for that at the end of the game. So, you know, it's a little weird, the calculation for that. And they're not doing anything else other than putting down that tile. Yeah, that's interesting. So I did end up right. I ended up with just enough monthly greenery production to get me to 8 in the post game, and so you get a chance to spend any extra for every 8 plants you end up with at the very end of the game. You can actually build another forest, but I can only build 1, and it's only here, but that's great because it's next to my city. It's the very last available tile. We filled up every single tile other than a couple of the ocean tiles. I think it's possible to fill up every tile, but there's almost always a couple ocean tiles left, especially when people are getting ocean tiles. All right, game is over. Those are when people are putting ocean tiles on lands. So here we go. Awards. I did end up winning one of the awards. I got killed on the milestones. Greeneries were all even at 11, so cities is where I'd win. Yeah, 81, and then, oh, the victory points. Oh, I won. Oh, man. Wow. I did not think I was going to win that one. Holy shit. I knew the cities were big. Yeah, 30 was what I was hoping for. I was hoping for 30. I was like, I have so many cities, and I put down a lot of greeneries, and I got 11, but they were also putting a lot around me. I wish I could look at the board from here and show you. You can kind of see it, but my strategy, even though I split my cities between some in the north and some in the south, it ended up working out because both were in the middle of the map from a north-south perspective, and so anytime they were building cities to the east or west, they would have to build cities towards the middle, towards me, and so I just got a ton of points. I mean, look at it. I mean, you know, terraforming rating, I was the lowest. Awards was pretty even. I got none of the milestones. We all have the same amount. We all put 11 greenery tiles down, but I crushed them in the city. I had just enough more victory points to pull out 101, 96, 95. These games are almost always close. There's a couple games where I've gotten killed. more likely there's a few games where I crush them because I get my engine going from the beginning exactly how I want, but usually it ends up really close. All right, well, there you have it. 101, 96, 95. Thanks for joining, and I don't know, maybe play some Stellaris later, finish up my Dune Spice Wars campaign, but I love playing board games, and there's been some really good conversions, so thanks for watching Terraforming Mars, and we shall see you later.